This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, July 3rd of 2025. We're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I have more from my recent trip to Urban Dreams, this time talking with their student and food driver, Jay Krogh. It takes a team effort to make things happen there, and he is no stranger to all of the connections and developments they've had over the past few years. We'll also have Cory Bratland of agmarket.net to take a look at the closing markets as we head into this extended holiday weekend. But first, here's my conversation with Jay.
And Jay, like we were just talking about, you get different routes all the time, specifically from the Food Bank of Iowa, as they help line that up for people who are donating food to here. You get to see a lot of that. Tell us a little bit about just kind of how that process works, and also how great it is to see companies who are willing to give back to those who are in need.
Absolutely. The routes vary from day to day, and actually they vary from the bulk of the calendar year to the time that I transport students. We have a 14-passenger van. In off time, or in the summertime, all of those 14 seats are in the van, and I transport students, as we discussed earlier. The rest of the year, we pull the seats out of the van, and I use the van as the vehicle to pick up the food donations. So it does vary from that one season to the bulk of the school year, or the bulk of the year. I vary the route. I live in Urbandale. There are stops that I make that are near where I live. So those days I will start in those locations that are close to my home, and I'll pick up those, and then I'll bring those down here to the food pantry to get the ARP people started. And then I'll park my vehicle and take the van and then finish the route for that day. The other nice thing about that is I also make stops at restaurants, and those provide hot food for us that we are allowed to break down, and then we don't serve those as meals here, but they're packaged and then people can take them home. And they're ready-made meals.
And you get to see a lot of change, honestly. I mean, changing routes, you get to see different companies donating food.
Yes.
I really want to touch on, you mentioned transporting those students around. I think a food bank is much more than a food bank. It's kind of giving an opportunity of families to have a more normal sense of life and get to do some things that maybe they wouldn't be able to otherwise. You were talking earlier about taking the students there. They might be a little quiet by the time you take them there. By the time they're done, I mean, they're really opening up, and it's got to be so rewarding to see that change.
Oh, absolutely. They're laughing, they're chatting about what they had done during the day, what they had learned. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Makes me feel younger than I am.
If there's anything else food-wise, when you get donations, if they talk about that, anything to you, or just what you've seen?
Well, I've made some very good friends at the various stops. It's really, not only is the picking up and sharing of the food rewarding, but it is rewarding to meet different people and have conversations and truly enjoy meeting people who provide the food that I bring back. I'd like to share one story with you if I could. And this happened would have been a year ago in December, I believe. I walked into a come and go. I stop at 4 come and goes during the week, different come and goes. And anyway, the manager, who I'd become very good friends with, approached me when I came in to her store, and she said, "Do you take donations other than food?" I said, "Well, yes, we do." She handed me 5 $100 bills, and she said, "I'm allowed to do this once a year, and I'd like Urban Dreams to have this donation this year." Number one, I was kind of surprised. And number two, I was kind of proud of the fact that she chose Urban Dreams to make that donation.
That again was Jay Krogh. He's the food and student driver at Urban Dreams here in Des Moines. We'll have a check of the closing markets next, but first here's a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and we're here now with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. Cory, as we head into the Independence Day extended weekend, what are we seeing going on in the grains?
Hey, Riley, good to be with you again. Grain prices started out the day actually kind of carry over from yesterday, a little stronger. President Trump is going to be speaking in Des Moines here later on this afternoon, or actually early this evening. And there's a lot of anticipation that he is going to maybe release some details of a trade deal with China. At least that's what the rumor is. But the market had a nice boost up yesterday. It was up today here a couple cents on corn and about a 1 to 2 cents on beans. We did have export sales this morning reported. When you combine the old crop, new crop together, they were very solid again. So we even here recently, we are still selling some corn and soybeans here for old crop, along with getting a book of business on new crop. Also this morning, we had some flash sales of about 150,000 metric ton of corn sales, around 225,000 metric ton of soybeans, and about 195,000 metric ton of soybean meal. So all in all, it was a good day for our exports here and the grains.
And with that news of, just potential news from President Trump tonight, it would take a while for that news to get digested in the marketplace if it does happen, right?
Yeah, it will. I mean, I think we're anticipating that we're going to get some sort of announcement and such. So, but yeah, I mean, and it's nothing that we're going to see immediate action. I don't believe anyways. It's something, to me, this could be something for more long-term, many years down the road type thing. But if that's the case, so I guess everybody's going to be pretty anxious, including myself, to see what he says. I think he speaks somewhere around 7:30 tonight down in Des Moines. So.
And then over on the livestock side of things, of course, this weekend being 4th of July, there's that enhanced demand factor for meat. What are we seeing in the cattle and hogs today?
Yeah, we had a nice little pop up again on cattle, on both feeder cattle and live cattle. Live cattle end of the day about $1.60 or so higher on the August contract, with the deferreds trailing just a little bit. So packer margins have improved a little bit. Cash trade here this week's been pretty light, but I am hearing that it's down just a little bit, but maybe not quite as down as what they thought, what they feared. So I think it's those improved cattle margins that's helping. And also, we got to look at it. We got the phase opening of the Mexico border, so we're going to start getting some feeder cattle probably coming in across the border. And we absorbed that kind of news fairly well. I mean, we've shrugged that off here after kind of seeing that hit the market here earlier this week. So all in all, cattle look good. Hogs, they backed up here a little bit. They kind of got a little bit lofty here about a week and a half ago, and then we're just seeing just a normal correction there. But demand still stays pretty strong. And next week, with potential more trade deals coming down the road, that should be could be a big benefit here for agricultures, including all of our livestock in here.
Lots of great information today, Cory. For anyone who wants to stay up to date with the agmarket.net team, how can they do that?
Yeah, the easiest, just head on over to our website, which is agmarket.net, and you can get a hold of us that way.
All right, Cory, thanks again for the analysis as always, and have a great extended weekend.
All right, thanks, Riley.
That again was Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers closed through the market window at iowaagnet.com.
July corn up 2 1/4 at 431 1/2. September corn up 2 1/4 at 420 1/4. July soybeans up 5 3/4 at 1056 1/4. September beans up 1 1/2 at 1041 1/4. August soybean meal up 60 cents at 277.40. August soybean oil down 47 cents at 54.55. Chicago wheat down 7 1/4 at 556 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 4 3/4 at 518 even. September oats up 3 1/4 at 387 3/4. On the Merc, August live cattle up $1.60 at 214.05. August feeders up 47 cents at 309.50. July lean hogs down $1.67 at 107.97. Pork cutout down 70 cents at 117.35. And July class 3 milk up 6 cents at 17.38.
That's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. You can find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential. Find those on your favorite podcasting services at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Ashton Jolly, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. Have a great 4th of July weekend, and we will see you on Monday. This has been Ag Matters PM.